welcome back to Crime Besties, to the last episode of 2025.
Feels like we should be at the end now.
Yeah. What a year. What a year.
It's been amazing for two Crime Besties. That is for damn sure.
Yes.
We have had a year.
Yeah, it's been great.
We're going to celebrate the good.
Absolutely. And we really appreciate everyone's support. It is actually so overwhelming.
It is.
I'm going to start today then by doing our shout outs while we're talking about it. So we've had a couple of new Patreons this week. We've got Eve Crawshaw and Stephanie Golding. We've also had some coffees bought for us by Naomi Peacock, who said that we've ruined all other podcasts for her.
Ruined them. I love that.
And she's like, she goes, I just love a bit of casual crime on a Tuesday.
Yeah, cash crime. I love.
Yep. And Kate Wright, who said she used to go to bed listening to Hedley Thomas. Now she goes to bed listening to our dulcet tones. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure Hedley's got a way more soothing voice than we do.
So I feel like we might startle you awake when we laugh or something.
So sorry, Kate, but thank you very much for your support.
I feel like we might be keeping you awake rather than sending you to sleep.
That's it. Yeah, we're probably better for that.
Yeah.
But if you need to stay awake for any reason, chuck us in your ears.
Grating down the chalkboard.
That's right. That's how I feel when I listen to me. Oh, it's horrible. Anyway, so you've had a bit of a week. You've had a really busy week. And we were just saying it is like a limp to the finish line.
I feel like I'm limping even doesn't cut it. I think I'm in the wheelchair.
Dragging one arm by arm, like commando crawling out of it.
Yeah, we will make this. We will make it.
Yeah.
But you know what I do have for the people, just to keep it on a light note though, I do have a Kyle story for everyone and we can share that for the end of the year. I think people will love that.
Go.
I did tell you about this one. So
this one just gets so gross.
Kyle, our axolotl, for those who don't know, well, I shouldn't say ours, it's my son's. He should take responsibility for that. Mm-hmm. But you'll all be very proud of me. So we're cleaning the tank the other week and it's always it's a lot trying to do this bloody tank. But Kyle has grown. I can't believe how much he's grown. So trying to get him out of the tank to clean it is quite the thing. So
it's an ordeal.
It's an ordeal. But Brody was struggling to get him out he just wasn't grabbing him enough. He was being a bit too gentle about it. And I'm like, I'll get him with the net and then you like put your hand over him in the net, and we'll transfer him across. And so we got him to the top of the tank and as Brody's like putting his hand on him, he took a leap of faith off the tank, down the back of the cabinet that the tank's on and then scurried behind the cabinetry. Oh my God.
Oh.
I was screaming. Brody was crying.
You were screaming for different reasons.
Very different reasons, but oh my God. And I'm like, I could just see his tail at the edge of the cabinet. And I'm like, oh my God. So then I'm like, I need to pull the cabinet out a bit more to be able to get in there. Because I'm realizing that I am going to have to touch this fucking thing.
Oh my God.
So I was like, it was full chaos. I cannot explain how chaotic, right?
I feel like I've got a pretty good idea. Oh my God, yuck.
Got in there though, and I picked that thing up and then quickly ran it, walked it, whatever, plopped it in the water.
You actually touched him with your own hands. I didn't realise that.
Oh, I touched him. But the thing was, I'm like, is it dead or is it alive?
Oh God, was it dead?
It's like we're all waiting for him to move, and he moved. So it's like,
was he? Did it stress him out?
Oh, definitely. Because I said to Brody, let's just give him a moment.
Yeah.
In his other bucket, calm.
Yeah, in his other bucket.
With dog hair attached to him and shit. Because he was on the floor behind the cabinetry where I have a dog with a lot of hair and a lot of hair goes behind that cabinetry. And I don't often vacuum behind there. Oh God, it was just so bad. It was so bad. So yeah. We got him back in. We had some quiet time before we then transferred him very carefully back from that bucket to his home tank.
Which was now clean.
Yeah.
And fresh.
Now, this happened on a day when I was heading out that evening to get a memorial tattoo for my dad, my first ever. I had my flash of lightning of while this was occurring that I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm going to have to get 2 tattoos today. I'm going to have to get a second memorial tattoo of Kyle.
Kyle tattoo.
Because you just know Brody would expect me to. You know what I mean? Same level.
Same level. Yeah.
Dad?
Yeah. Kyle.
Yeah.
Same.
You're getting one for your dad, clearly you got to get one for Kyle. So I'm like, you better live, you little. Do not want an axolotl tattooed on me.
Oh, you'd have to get it where no one would see it.
Oh my God, no.
Oh my
but
God.
That wouldn't cut it for Brody.
No, that's true. It'd need to be on your forehead or something. Well, I'm glad Kyle survived. Well, no, I am.
Well, yeah.
For the sake of your skin, I'm glad Kyle survived.
Yeah.
So another Kyle story. I went over to your place last week or the week before.
Yeah.
And when I got there, Brody was like, Emma, guess what? Kyle just ate his own poo. I'm like, when I thought this thing couldn't be any more disgusting, it turns out
tops itself.
Yeah.
And I'll just tell you.
I'm like, does he do that all the time? And he's like, yeah.
And touching him was like I thought it would be.
Slimy.
Doing that again.
Yuck. But
I just got my shit together. I'm just going to do this.
Yep. Now, I want to know, what have you got on your Christmas list?
Oh, a nice new handbag.
Oh, okay. Do you have like an idea in mind of what you want?
Yeah, I've bought it.
Oh, excellent.
I've chosen a very nice, beautiful leather handbag.
Lovely.
Yeah, just a small one, but it's nice. I'm very happy.
Beautiful.
Yes, and I'm getting a new pair of I guess you call them I guess they're kind of clog.
Yeah, right.
Kind of shoe.
Okay.
I'm really happy with them.
Okay. They're not Crocs, are they?
Not Crocs.
Okay.
No. That's why I was like cloggish, but not like that.
Okay.
Nice slip-on shoe. I guess you'd call them a door shoe. You know, you can just walk out the door in them.
Yeah, right.
Kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm excited.
Love it.
What about you?
Well, I wanted some new earrings and I sent
Got a few more holes to fill.
Yeah, that's right. I've got a lot on each side now. I sent a link to the exact thing I wanted to produce a piece. So I feel like if I'm disappointed on Christmas Day, it's either because he's ignored my link and hasn't gotten me earrings.
Yes.
Or he's gone rogue and not gotten me the ones that I wanted.
Is he likely to go rogue?
No, he's not likely to go rogue.
He's a bit more...
pretty...
Yeah, give me a link, I'll follow the link.
Yeah. My only thing is I'm like, would they still have them in stock? Because they had a really good... They were on super special.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Because then he could go rogue.
It could go rogue.
Ooh, that's... Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh, no.
We'll see. He did well with the jewellery he has bought me without me knowing in the past.
He's done okay with that?
My engagement ring.
Yeah.
What else is... he's bought me earrings before and he's done very, very well.
Okay, that's good. If they're good in that department and get what you like, you should be safe.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed for Christmas
Fingers
Day.
crossed. What a spoilt brat.
Oh, I love that.
But anyway, so that's exciting.
Yes.
Looking forward to that.
Oh, I can't wait. It's exciting when you think, might be things you might unwrap that you don't know what they are.
Yeah, nah.
No.
The other things under the Christmas tree I've bought for myself and wrapped and written on the card, to Mum, you're the best in the world, from Oliver and Lucas.
Oh, God. No, see, I hand it to them and say that, it gets delivered to the house, whatever, with their name on the thing.
Okay.
Oh, that's a parcel for you guys to sort out. So,
yeah. Oh, that's cute.
Oh, it always gets wrapped so beautifully.
I'm sure it does. I wouldn't let my kids wrap a present.
Not for someone else, I wouldn't. But it's kind of lovely when they do it for me. But I would know if there's birthday parties and stuff, I'm like,
hand it over. Yep. I'll take care of that. It's fine. Don't worry. I'll take care of it. It's good. Yeah. I love my wrapping paper.
Same.
This year I had to go to a special, I did a special trip to get my wrapping paper from a shop that I wasn't otherwise planning on going to.
Yeah.
So I just love it. I went with a red and pink theme this year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep. Mine's been dictated to me by whatever the variety was that I got. You know how when you order from Big W or whatever, and there's a variety of choices, just sort of waiting to see whatever they put in the parcel because I just didn't have the time. I don't know. Yeah, I've got to pick it up.
Okay.
So I'm because I liked all the design.
Yeah, okay.
Well, one's preferable than the other probably, but the color theme okay. But I was like, okay, I'll order 2 of that. And we'll see what we get out of that option.
Surely they'll give you both the same.
Well, I was actually hoping they didn't. I was kind of hoping they'd match. They match because they're a similar vein.
Oh, okay.
But I'm
that's all right,
either way, I'll be fine, I think.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Yep. Just leaving it to the gods this year.
Yeah. Oh, well, you know what? If any year's the year for you to do that, this is the year.
Yeah, for
this
sure.
This is the year.
It is.
Yeah. All right. Well, our kids are... I don't know about yours. I'm sure they're exactly the same, limping towards the end of the year as well.
Oh, big time.
Our young ones have athletics day today.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful day, but weather-wise.
Yeah.
But I'm like, they are just so exhausted.
Oh, they are really exhausted.
And an 11-week term, it's hard. Yep.
Yep.
So let's hope they all get through that, and then one more week, and then we're all on school holidays, and it's going to be
It's going to be great.
Yeah. I always find with the Christmas school holidays, they are 2 weeks too long. I feel like if they were only
2 weeks too short.
I feel like shut up. I feel like if there were 4 weeks, I could easily get through that.
Yeah, right.
But those last 2 weeks before they go back to school, I'm like, we're all ready for everything to go back to normal.
No, I could go with him going longer.
Of course, you could. It's hard. Like,
I mean, I'm not juggling work and kids. I'm like, if they're off, I'm off. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very different for me. Whereas, so I'd live that all the time if I could.
Of course.
If I got paid to, homeschool, I would, but I don't get paid. So they've got to go to school and do that.
Off you go.
Yeah.
Trot on off so I can go to work.
Go to work and earn money.
Yeah. All right, should we get into today's case?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
I am hanging to get
this. I mean, you were just saying like this case has been a bit of an obsession for you.
Yeah, not like recent, like when it sort of all happened, I was in it. There's a podcast called, we should say, I guess, we're doing the case of the Delphi Murders, as they're known, for Libby and Abby, Libby German and Abby Williams. So there's a podcast by the name of Down the Hill, which we'll get to why that is significant. And it's phenomenal. Have you ever listened to it? It's a long form. Yeah. So I was pretty engrossed in that as it was being released at the time.
There was way too much of it to listen to in this week to prepare for this week's podcast. But I did listen to a couple of key episodes where I wasn't sort of things I wanted to know a little bit more about because it's really detailed.
Yeah. Well, and this is the thing with this case. There is a lot of detail and a lot of information. But at the same time, there's a lot we don't know and has never been released.
That's right.
So it's I find it a very interesting case for that reason.
And I think that's one of the reasons that people are so interested in this case too.
Yes. And I wonder whether that's purposeful for that in some way. I don't know. I have varying thoughts and interests.
Yeah, same. I feel exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really interesting one.
Yes.
So we're talking about the murders of Liberty Rose Lynn German, who was born on the 27th of December in 2002. She was known as Libby, and she was a really witty, tech-savvy and brave girl. That's the way her mum describes her. Her mother's name is Carrie and her father's name is Derek. They were together. They had 2 children together. Libby had an older sister named Kelsey, and they split up not long, I think, after Libby was born. And both of them ended up spending some time in prison. So Carrie spent time in prison, I think, for drug charges, and I think similar for Derek.
For Derek as well.
From what I can gather.
Yeah.
So when both parents were in prison, Derek's mum and dad, Becky and Mike Paddy, took guardianship of the girls and raised them. And they are the loveliest people.
Absolutely.
Like, you can see them interviewed in documentaries, even on some podcasts, and even just interviews with the police that have been released that you can hear details from them. They are gorgeous, gorgeous people, like just so lovely. And you can tell how heartbroken they are that this happened to their granddaughter. It's just so incredibly tragic.
Absolutely. They really, I think, if in the scenario of a grandparent stepping up into that role of parent, they've done it how it needs to be done, like kind of stuff. They've hit every mark of getting it right. The parents have been involved, throughout things. It's not like they dismissed them and were like, and they've raised them. It's been a joint effort, but the guardianship legally has come under the grandparents of both the girls, but they've done an incredible job raising them, all 4 of their parents.
That's it. Absolutely. Yeah. So at the time of Libby's murder, Derek was actually living in the home with his 2 daughters and his mum and dad.
And stuff he
really was starting to turn his life around, and like it would be really difficult coming out of prison to then find work and get yourself back on your feet, but that's what he was trying to do. And a similar can be said for Carrie. She was actually living in Kentucky at the time, so she wasn't living in Delphi or anywhere around Delphi. I think they said she was about 200 miles away or something. Like it's right. A while.
Yeah.
A few hours, like an hour or 2 drive, I think.
Yeah.
And did I say she lived in Kentucky?
Yeah.
What did I
Kentucky?
say? It was definitely Kentucky.
Yeah.
I just can't remember what
Kentucky
I just
rang
said
a bell when you said it. And I was like, oh, was it not?
Was it? No, it was. It was.
Yeah.
So Abigail Joyce Williams was born on the 23rd of June in 2003. She was known as Abby, and she was artistic, thoughtful, and sporty, according to her mum. She was an only child and lived with her mum and a cat named Bongo. Bingo, bango, bongo. So have to be in the jungle. And she and her mum were their own little family unit.
Yeah.
Her mum raised her on her own, and her mum is also just like, she seems like a very lovely, definitely loving mother. She did everything she could for Abby to give Abby the life that I think she didn't necessarily have as a child growing up.
Really fair to say.
Yeah. And it's, you know, to her testament that Abby grew into such a, I mean, you know, she was 13 years old when she was murdered, but she was a really lovely, like very valued member of the school community and the broader community of Delphi as well.
And the way that their friendship group speak about the two of them,
I know,
because the two of them were particularly tight best friends. You know, it was kind of that, you know, as you get, you know, the best friends within a group of friends, like kind of situation, and the way that they have friends talk about their friendship, but also their broader friendships. They were obviously girls that were energetic, you know, involved in everything. They literally were part of everything they could be. They loved their sports. They loved their music. They loved, you know, all these various things they got involved in. They were not shy, quiet kids, but they were well engaged and productive teenagers. Yeah.
Abby was described as being more shy than Libby.
Yeah.
I think she was maybe just personality wise.
Yes.
It wasn't like a
no.
that happened for her to be that way. Or
No,
it wasn't
just generally speaking, she was quieter.
Speaking.
But they bounced off each other well, apparently.
And the fact that they both were involved in so many different things and really took interest in each other's interests. I mean, I guess that's what besties do when you're 13 and 14, and that's your whole world, isn't it? Your best friend's your person.
Well, even they said like that they got on holidays together, like Libby had gone with Abby's family on a holiday, and I think that it was going to go the other way the next summer holidays kind of stuff, which because they'd just come off of summer holidays at this point, or just about to, sort of, I believe. So they were sort of talking already that, you know, since you went with, you know, with Abby's Abby went with Libby's family.
Yeah.
So since you went with Libby's family, Abby, you know, next summer holidays we'll take Libby with us and we'll do a holiday trip. And it was, I mean, it was just that kind of inbuilt family, extending it out to having, you know, other people involved in their lives, which were really solid people.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And, you know, you look at those families and you think, God, I'd be happy for my kids to, you know, be friends with people like that and
totally.
be as involved in the families, people like that. So I guess we should talk a little bit about Delphi and what Delphi's like. So Delphi is a small town in Indiana. And it is tiny. 3,000 people live there. And the next biggest city is Lafayette. So in Delphi, there's almost nothing to do. If you want to go to the movies, if you want to go to like a bigger shopping centre, you have to actually go to Lafayette, which is, I think, about a 30-odd minute drive away.
Yeah, 30, 40-minute drive. Yeah.
And so you think about what it would be like to live in such a small community as a teenager with not too much to do. There's like certain places that teens always go to hang out and things that they do. And one of the things is to go hiking. Indiana, you know, you look at some of the scenes when you're researching this case and you're like, oh, it's a beautiful place. Absolutely. It's not somewhere that's ever been on my radar to visit, but you look at it and you think, oh, what a really lovely sort of remote town.
Yep.
You know, it's like there's
beautiful wooded areas and streams and lakes and things like rivers.
Just gorgeous.
Yeah, beautiful. But also though, when I think of like Indiana in general, I think of like The Middle. Like the show The Middle.
Yes, I love that show.
Great. If you don't watch it, oh my God. But yeah, I think of those sort of but genuine down to earth families.
Yeah.
Then that's what sort of it brings to mind to me of like that. Which was an episode I was watching recently of The Middle of where Child Protective Services come to their house, you know, and they're stressing that they're going to lose the kids. And when she finally pins her down to say, you know, no, but is everything okay? You know, because she thinks that's total chaos in their house. And the woman says, you have no idea what I see on a day-to-day. Your family is so normal. You know, like you think you're insane, but you are the stock standard. You are what we should all aim to be, you know, so, and I love that. Like, that's what I think of Indiana being too. Just that, I don't know, just real, genuine people.
Yeah, my favourite episode of The Middle is where they go on holidays and they've got a neighbour coming to like feed the cat or something, and she comes and she rings them and she's like, oh my God, your house has been burgled.
Yes.
And so they come home, they're like, shit, they come home, they open the door, and the police are in there, the neighbour's got the police in there, and they're like, ma'am, please just let us know what's missing, we'll file the report. And you can, like, there's a voiceover of what she's thinking, and she's like, little did they know this is actually exactly how we left our house. And it hasn't been robbed at all.
They have to go along with like, oh, yeah, no, this was not how we left it at all.
This is so messy. I just love it. I just absolutely love it. So getting back to Delphi, sorry. Everyone knows everyone in the town, you know, even if it's at a glance, you know, everyone sort of knows who's there, who should be there. And a little bit about the background of most people, even though it's quite spread out as well, because there are some really massive rural properties within the confines of Delphi.
Yeah.
The Monon High Bridge is a local landmark. It's on a very popular hiking trail. It actually is the end of this particular hiking trail. And
you literally can't get anywhere at the end of it. You have to turn around and come back again.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. So it's so by the time you get to the bridge, it's in a fairly secluded area of this hiking trail. The bridge was built in 1881 as a rail bridge. Yeah. And it is about 65 to 70 feet off the ground, which is like
30 metres off the ground.
30 metres off the ground. And underneath it, massive fall. There's no guardrails or anything like that. Underneath it is like a river that flows underneath, which is, I guess, why
there's a bridge.
Why the bridge is there. And it's blocked off at the end that the trail leads to. It's actually blocked off with a gate, but so many teens and kids will climb that gate and actually walk across the bridge.
Yes.
Now, it is dilapidated. It hasn't been maintained. There are rotting struts, missing struts. Yeah. There's no rail on the side. Like, it is literally just an open fall. Like, I look at that and I think, oh my fucking Lord.
There are like people that I've listened to, like journalists who have gone out there like looking at this, that go, there's no fucking way I'd get on that bridge.
Yeah.
Like, as an adult or whatever, like teenagers, they do it a little bit easier.
And it's a bit of a risk-taking sort of thing, and it is something that they dare each other to do.
And even in that, I guess it shows their personalities very much so, that Libby was pretty avid on it. She loved going out onto that bridge, whereas Abby was not keen.
Not so much.
So she would be very hesitant, like, people would be surprised if she'd go out there. She was not keen on it at all.
And Abby's mum said, I mean, we're going to get to this in a minute, but Abby's mum saw that Abby was on that bridge and she's like, I was going to bloody kill her. Like, she knows she's not allowed to go on there.
Yeah.
It's so dangerous. So dangerous.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, you wouldn't get me on there.
No way.
No.
So in the US, so there are allotted snow days that are allotted, and if they're not used, the kids actually then get those, and I assume the teachers then get those days as makeup days in the summer. So that was
it was coming out of winter. I'm thinking of Australia because it was February, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was coming out of winter.
They hadn't used it into spring.
That's it. They so what happened is I think they ended up having 2 snow days that weren't used over winter.
Yeah.
And so coming into the spring months, the school, I guess, decides on what day they can then use those days up.
Yeah.
So they decided on this particular Monday that it was going to be a student-free day at one of the makeup snow days.
Yeah. And it turned out to be a particularly nice day on this day. Like really early, quite warm day. So
lovely blue skies, sunny day.
Yeah.
The night before, the girls decided to organise a sleepover at Libby's. Not unusual.
No.
They did it all the time. They slept at one another's houses all of the time. And they'd spent the day playing softball in the backyard. They did some watercolour painting and they watched a movie. So, again, just your typical day and night leading in. On the day of the incident, which was the 13th, I've just had a mental blank.
13th of February, 2017.
Oh, my gosh. On the 13th, Mike, the dad, who was living with the grandparents and Libby at the time, and Kelsey, he made them breakfast. And Kelsey, being the older sister, she could drive. Now, I think we've described how remote Delphi is. And in order to get anywhere, you kind of had to drive. It's not like the girls could have, even to hop on your bike to ride, I had a look and it's too far.
Yeah.
So they were wanting to do something. They were probably bored knocking around at home and they'd done all the things they were going to do.
Well, they were helping out Libby's grandma doing some filing and stuff for her business at the time when they were at home, and they'd finished doing that. So they were like, because they'd slept in quite late, and as you do on, day off, why not?
Teenagers.
But they'd kind of been doing all these filing things for grandma and kind of going, well, what else can we do today? And when Kelsey said she was heading out, they jumped at the chance to kind of go, well, can you give us a ride somewhere and we'll get outside?
Yeah.
So, she wasn't that keen to take them though.
No, Kelsey was like, they had been asking me for like days and hours. Like, they'd asked her the week before to take them somewhere as well. And she was like, no, I'm not doing it. Like, how annoying. Shut up. But on this particular day, she was going to her boyfriend's house, which kind of went past the nature reserve where the girls wanted to be dropped off at the hiking track. So she was like, all right, come on in then. But she's like, I'm not picking you up. So you need to organise somebody else to pick you up.
Yeah.
And Libby asked her dad, would it be all right if you picked me up? And he's like, yep, got to run some errands for grandma. Yep. And I'll probably be able to pick you up about 3-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. So keep your phone on you. I'll
call you when I'm on my way.
Give you a call.
Yeah.
Libby had a phone. Abby didn't yet.
Which I love that too, almost. Like that whole, they just, good innocent kids that went,
And they're on the verge of like that, that next step.
Yeah.
I can kind of see, I mean, we've got kids that are approaching that now and I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get that.
I love that she's been able to hold out. And like, even though her best friend's got one, Abby's not as interested, like, which, it's fine too.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. So we know due to CCTV footage from a car park that was, I think it was a service station that was across the road from where Kelsey dropped the girls at the nature reserve, that she dropped them there at 1:49 p.m. on that afternoon.
Yeah.
She stayed in her car until she couldn't see them anymore. So the CCTV footage, I think you can't see the girls, like it's not close enough to be able to see their faces or anything, but they can tell it was definitely Kelsey's car.
Yeah.
The two young girls get out of the car and Kelsey actually watches them go down the track until she can't see them anymore. Then she reverses out and drives off.
Yeah.
The girls go down the Monon High Bridge Trail. As we said, it's fairly secluded. And a lot of the time, I think only really locals knew about this particular track.
It wasn't easy to find.
And when I looked at the map of it as well, the start of it isn't near the road.
No.
So it's not, there were plenty of other trails and tracks.
Yeah, there's other options to go down. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you would see those first. And if you weren't from the area, you'd go down one of those other tracks.
Exactly. They say really only locals go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it was about a 15-minute walk from, like, I think roughly the car park area to where this Monon High Bridge starts.
The trail starts.
Yeah. So it's still a fair way in, of walking to get to where you begin this track.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Now, because Libby had her phone with her, at about 2:07 p.m, she posted 2 Snapchat photos. Now, first of all, how does a 14-year-old take such an amazing photo? This photo is of Abby on the Monon High Bridge.
Yeah.
And it is, oh my God, it is such a cool photo.
It is. It's a really cool photo. I imagine, I'm like, you know exactly why she posted it, and so she should have. It was a great photo.
It was such a good photo.
Yeah.
Maybe we can pop that on our socials, you reckon?
Yep.
And this is when Abby's mum saw the photo on Snapchat and went, oh my God, when she gets home, I'm going to kill her. She's like, she's not allowed on that bridge. And I would be the same.
Oh, same.
The other photo she posted was a black and white photo of the
bridge.
And again, that was stunning.
Yeah.
Like she was obviously a really good photographer. She had that sort of knack about her.
Yeah, just the angle and whatever.
Yeah, because I feel like if I took a photo of that, everyone would be like,
shy.
oh, yeah.
It's like a bridge.
Yeah, it's a bridge. But very artistic angles, whatever.
Yeah.
So, yes, the bridge is dilapidated, but it just looked really rustic and really cool in those photos.
Yes.
So at 3:11 p.m, Derek sent a message to Libby saying that he was a couple of minutes away. So the girls kind of knew that roughly 3 o'clock Derek was coming to pick them up.
Yeah.
So they were responsible enough that he was like, they won't be far from where we were from the car park where I'm going to pick
I'll be
them
pulling
up,
up, and if they're not there, they'll be not far away. Like,
He arrived at 3:13 p.m. And Abby and Libby weren't there. Again, he just assumed,
Random.
okay, they're a couple of minutes away. They can't be far. They know, they know I'm coming.
Yeah.
He waited a few minutes and then he called Libby. So he'd sent her a text message originally. Then he's like, well, she's not here. I'm bloody going to call her and see where she is.
Yeah.
He didn't get an answer. So he ended up getting out of his car and he started to walk down the trail. Meanwhile, also trying to call her phone.
Yeah.
And there's absolutely no sign of them. I think he thought that by the time he got to the start of the trail, they'd be there and be walking back and be like, oh, sorry, we lost track of time or whatever.
Yeah.
At 3:20 p.m., Derek encountered Dan McCain. So this was an older man who was walking along the trail. Derek asked him if he'd seen the girls, and he said he hadn't seen them, but he'd seen a couple under the bridge making out, or what he thought they were making out.
Okay.
And so he just ignored that and walked away because he's like, whatever they were doing under there was none of my business. So he said that was the only sort of unusual thing that he'd seen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
At 3:30, Derek called Becky, his mum, to see whether there was a bit of a mix-up or something, or the girls might have called her to pick them up earlier, and he didn't know.
Yeah.
And Becky said, no, like I assume nothing to. According to me, none of the plans have changed. I thought you were
never
there
anything
picking
else.
the girls up now.
Yeah.
So Becky, I feel like she had a pretty instant
Because
fear.
they were so responsible. I think that this was so unusual that she wasn't answering her phone, and that they weren't where they were supposed to be. This was not a normal situation for them. So I think it heightened the thought process pretty quickly for her.
And I feel like it's probably worth mentioning as well that the girls had done this hike hundreds of times before.
They loved going there. They went there so many times.
And it's where all the local teens would hang out. They'd go there with other friends.
Yeah.
It was just something they did all the time. They were so familiar with the area. The
actual Moon on High Bridge, not quite, as I say, Abby would hated going on it. They didn't do that necessarily, but that area, they were out there all the time doing, trails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what Becky ended up doing was calling close girlfriends of theirs to say, like, did you meet up with them? Do you know where they might be? Have they called you? Have they been in contact with you? Because, she might have thought, they might have decided to go and meet up for an ice cream or who knows,
Yeah.
Not that they were irresponsible, but, teenagers, sometimes you can kind of get caught up in your own shit, can't you?
Yeah.
None of the friends had heard from them, aside from the fact that one of them said, oh, we did see a Snapchat from Libby earlier, like a couple of hours earlier.
Yeah.
Becky then called Kelsey, Libby's older sister, to say, like, did you definitely drop them off, or have you picked them up? Did you make different arrangements?
Yeah.
And Kelsey was like, no, but she immediately got in her car and went down to see what was going on.
Yeah.
By this stage, Becky also rang Mike, their grandfather, Libby and Kelsey's grandfather, and he came home from work immediately and went to the scene.
Yeah.
And they all started looking for them.
Yeah.
In amongst all this, I think Becky realised, like, once they'd all gotten down to where the hike was starting from, Becky was like, oh shit, we haven't actually called Abby's mum to find out what's going on there. So to let her know or see if she knows anything.
Yes.
So Abby's mum was actually, her name's Anna.
Yeah.
She was at work at the time. And so Becky tried calling her phone, no answer. Then Becky was like, well, I'll call the restaurant that she works at. She worked as a bartender, I think. And I don't know if she wasn't able to get in contact with her. I'm not quite sure, but I think Becky ended up going to the restaurant where Abby's mum worked and asked her, and told her about the situation. She's like, no, but she says that her immediate feeling was they've lost track of time. Maybe they got a bit lost or went off on a trail that they didn't quite know, and that, she would go and everyone would go and have a look for them. They'd eventually find them and it'd all be fine.
Yeah.
It'd be a bit of a non-issue.
Yeah. I think Becky out of all of them was potentially the one thinking, okay, we know they were on the Moon High Bridge, and if one of them fell, like, I think she was starting to get that thought process of like, that could be shit.
Yeah, that's a very serious thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So by this time, as I said, Mike left work. And Cody, who was Libby's uncle, he'd actually only just come home from work, found out what was going on, and he also joined.
Yes.
So at this point, it's about 5 p.m. Derek, Becky, Kelsey, Mike and Cody were all looking for the girls, and Anna showed up about 20 minutes later.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, Mike's like, it's starting to get dark. This is really sus. This is now like almost 2.5 hours after the girls had said they were going to meet.
There. Yeah.
I'm really worried. I'm calling the police.
Yeah.
The police got there within half an hour, which I think is probably a pretty good response time given the distances that they had to come from.
Yes.
And what the police initially suspected was that the girls had just gotten themselves lost. They'd gone off a trail and they'd gotten themselves lost.
Maybe one of them's rolled an ankle and they're stuck somewhere.
Don't know how to get their way out or figure that bit out for themselves.
Yep.
They did think it was odd that that Libby wasn't answering her phone.
Yeah.
But it got to the point where it was going straight to voicemail. So they kept calling. Cool. The authorities arrived on the scene at about 5:50 p.m. and as I said, everyone thought that they were lost or something had happened. So at this time as well, the police did start to maybe question the family members, not in an official capacity by any stretch of the imagination, but more to get information and see what type of personalities the girls had. Were they risk takers? Was this something that was out of the ordinary for them? Trying to gather a bit of information.
Well, also the fact that they weren't able to give definitive times.
Yeah.
So it sounded from the police perspective, they were like, what, you don't even know what time you dropped them here? You don't even know what time you got here to pick them up? Which to me is normal. They weren't clock watching on that day.
Of course not.
So they were able to track all those times by looking at phones and going, oh, I called them at this time, so I must have arrived at this time. And, so that's where they got that official information from in the end. But at the time, they were like, I don't know, it was maybe 1:30 that we dropped them here, but I don't know, it could have been 2. So that's where they were kind of going, well, we don't have a lot of information that's definitive, that the cops were then going, we don't really know what we're looking for here because we don't know how long they've been here for.
Yes.
So that was hard at the beginning, which is not the family's fault. I'm not saying that for their fault, but that kind of made it a bit trickier, I guess.
I guess so. Yeah, for sure.
The other perspective of this is they brought in the fire brigade as well to help search for the girls, but that is a completely voluntary role in the town of Delphi. There is not anyone paid to be fire services. So they all work full-time jobs and do this on the side.
It's like the CFA for us.
100%, but that's all they have. We have then attached that you have paid employees, out at, a country fire authority situation.
Very true.
Whereas here, you might have your volunteers who, we do have volunteers that pitch in, but this was completely voluntary. So all these people were coming in after work, working a full-time job to come and help out and support. It makes it a bit interesting.
And I guess in a town like this as well, everyone knew something was going on.
Yeah, the word got out real fast.
The word did get out really quickly. And so even people who weren't associated with the volunteer fire authority were coming out and with their own torches and their own mobile phones and walkie-talkies and stuff to come and search for the girls.
Which is great. But that also comes with other risks.
That's right. But at this point you think, oh, yeah, of course. Of course you would let everyone go and look for them because at this point they're looking for girls who have gone missing, who've walked off a trail somewhere.
Might be injured and they need you to get to them and help them.
That's exactly right. And they need the manpower to be able to cover this vast, vast area in which they could possibly be.
Yeah.
So they keep going in terms of the search with all of these people.
Yeah.
Law enforcement are also then trying Libby's phone to see where it last pinged, and they find that it's either been switched off or the voicemail's full and it goes straight to voicemail, or it's lost or it's run out of battery.
Yeah, but it also with the towers in the area, because there weren't very many towers in the area, the pinging of the phones, and it will come into play a little bit later on too, the pinging of the phones is interesting because there's only so many towers it can ping off.
Yeah.
So pinpointing where her location is off of that is actually quite difficult anyway.
Yeah, it's not like you're in a metropolitan city where it could be, you can really geolocate yourself very
down to a fairly pretty much a street corner kind of situation.
Absolutely.
It's not like that at all.
Yeah. So by 6 p.m, there were over 100 local volunteers, including the Fire Department, the Department of Natural Resources, and the Carroll County Sheriff's Department, and I believe they had called in the state police as well at this point.
At that point, yes.
So around midnight, So these volunteers are searching from 6 p.m. till midnight. Around midnight, the call is made to call it off because...
Or just postpone it anyway.
Yeah, sorry. To postpone till sunlight because it's a dangerous place to be in the dark. When I say dangerous, it's not because of human predators. It's undulating. There's sticks and twigs and, anyone could have slipped and broken an ankle or gotten lost themselves. You're looking for volunteers who are looking for people.
You're adding to your
just getting too dangerous.
Numbers of,
Mike, Libby's grandfather, said that he was actually a little bit relieved when this happened in a way because he actually felt so responsible for all of the people who were out there looking for his granddaughter that he was kind of relieved that the safety of those people was then considered, although he was so obviously so desperate to find Libby.
Yeah, some people are really annoyed that this happened, that it was called off at that point or postponed at that point. I can see both sides. I can understand as a family member, I'd be like, I wouldn't want to stop looking. I've got to find them. But at the same time, I completely understand the decision that was made.
Agreed.
Though. Yeah, with a level head, I go, it was the right decision to make.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have changed the outcome, unfortunately. It might have changed crime scene, but we don't know much.
We don't know. Yeah. So Becky and Mike and I think Cody and Derek, they all stayed at the site in the car park overnight and
hoping they'd just walk out somewhere.
That's it. Yeah. And just wait. Of course, I would do exactly the same thing. You couldn't take me away from there.
Nope.
So at daylight, at sunlight, which was about 8:15 the next morning. So it must have still been winter. When the sun's rising a little bit later. So this is now on the 14th of February.
Yeah.
The search teams were kind of much more organised then. Overnight, the police department had been able to put into place a little bit of a plan of how they were going to search the next morning. And so they had more than 100 volunteers the next morning and they put them into teams of roughly 10 people and they gave them areas in which to search.
Yeah.
And so it was a far more methodical way.
Yep.
And far
really
more
coordinated,
which
that's a good thing. I mean, I think they did that correctly. Absolutely.
Yeah. So the next day, so this is the February the 14th. A volunteer is out looking and he finds a black Nike shoe.
Yeah.
Now, Kelsey, Libby's older sister, overhears this volunteer saying, "Hey, I've found something. It's a black Nike shoe." Because of the information that the police had gathered the day before, they knew what the girls were wearing when they disappeared, and Kelsey knew immediately that black Nike shoe belonged to Libby. Can you imagine how that would feel in that moment?
Yeah, but then I find this really hard then because obviously they find what they find, and the information is filtered to the grandparents and parents that they've found the girls, and they get told they've been found. Can you imagine the excitement that you feel of, oh my God, thank God they've been found, but then realising.
Have you heard Becky's account of this?
Yeah, it's sickening.
It's sickening.
Oh, so my heart broke.
Mike said that as soon as he heard that, he knew.
He understood what that meant.
Yeah, he understood.
But and I can understand, because you want that desperately. Oh, thank God they've been found. They're fine. That's
where your head goes.
You want to go there.
Because the other way, Becky probably couldn't even fathom that there was any other outcome.
And the fact that, they've been missing for less than 24 hours, that you kind of go, okay, they'll be hungry and they'll be thirsty, but they'll be alive.
They'll be all right. Yeah.
Like if you've been lost, you might have a broken leg because you've fallen. That's why they're all dealable things.
Yeah.
Oh.
What they found were the deceased remains of Abby and Libby. Mm-hmm. And as you said, this information had sort of filtered back up to the top of the car park, which is where Becky was sort of waiting.
She'd finished her area, so she was just coming back to the post to kind of go, give me another area to start searching. Yeah.
And her sister, Becky's sister, was there.
Yeah.
And she went over to her sister and said, "Oh my God, did you hear they found the girls?" And her sister said to her, yeah. They're dead. Oh, my God.
It would just be awful. I can't
and she was
imagine.
like, no, I don't believe you. Like, she was in absolute denial, which
not
again.
What you would, that's, oh, God, just awful. Awful.
It's just horrible. So the bodies were found on a private property, which was on the north side of the creek that ran under the Monon High Bridge.
Basically where the bridge is, you'd have to go down off the bridge, over the river and down a little further, and that's where they were found.
That's right. So, other side of the river, about a kilometre and a half from the bridge. So, a fair distance. So it was far enough that they couldn't easily be seen from the bridge.
No.
It was, they were semi-hidden in that respect.
Yeah, well, it's quite wooded too, in the area.
Yeah, very densely wooded area.
Yeah.
All right. So the FBI immediately become involved at this point.
Yes.
They worked with the Indiana State Police to establish and process the crime scene. However, like lots of things here, I just feel like we don't know whether things were missed or whether they just haven't been communicated publicly. And I feel like there's probably a bit of both of those things going on. Do you feel like that too?
I'm actually veering more on the side of just not released.
Okay.
But also the fact that, so what we're dealing with here is a crime scene outdoors.
Yep.
Where there's been search and rescue, stomping through and looking. We're dealing with just general outdoor elements.
Well, also 2 deer. The reason, so once Libby's shoe was found, what alerted that particular searcher to then look was because there were 2 deer, like, maybe 10 or 15 meters away from him, like really close.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, what are they doing? And that made him walk over there. And that's when he found their bodies.
Yes.
So, yes, wildlife has been interfering
this
with the
is it.
site.
I think so within 24 hours, this site has been, potentially already contaminated, not intentionally by any means. So how you then process that crime scene is challenging in itself. So I think between that and then the way I think the fact there was state, there was county, federal. All involved too. I think elements of it were done very well and elements of it weren't.
Yeah, I find it very interesting because, we know a lot more now than what they did the public did in 2017. Even in 2024, most of this stuff came out. So it's only recent that we've been able to attain a lot of the information in relation to this case.
Yeah.
They never released a cause of death. They never released what the bodies, what the state of the bodies.
There were a lot of assumptions made around that.
Because
and one of them,
course assumptions were made because they weren't giving out the information.
No.
So people are like, of course, I feel like it's human nature to then speculate on what happened.
Well,
because they knew some information but not all the information.
It was when they were planning the girls' funerals, that one got me.
Oh, I know.
When Becky was told by the funeral director, what do you want to bury her in, but you'll need to have. Can you bring a scarf? And she was like, a scarf? She never wore scarves, really? Why would she need a scarf? And it dawned on her because she'd never been told anything about how she had passed away or any of those things. That it wasn't until that point that she was like, okay, so there must have been some damage to her neck. And therefore that's why they're saying bring a scarf.
I can understand the police not releasing that information to the families until they've interviewed them and excluded them as possible suspects. Yep. I can understand that. But that had been done. Mm-hmm. That had been done and they still didn't tell the family. They have a
right to know that stuff. And not to say share on a podcast or to share on a media, on a documentary or whatever. But at least for them to know, for her to sit in that documentary that I heard her say that in, that you go, to get to that point and not have that knowledge that's heartbreaking.
Oh, and to find it out that way. Oh, gosh.
No.
Oh, it's just awful.
It really is. Really is. So February 15th, the following day, is a very crucial part of this. They do release that smidgen of information to the public that basically, and they don't give a lot of context to it. So they don't even say where they've found this from.
Yep.
We can tell you where they found it from because we found it later.
Yeah.
So just putting that into context at that press conference, it was put out to the community, this grainy image.
A still photo.
So the information of the fact that came from Libby's phone that she had recorded off of that on the bridge that day. You don't know any of that at this time, but we all know that.
Well, people were saying, like, was it a trail camera? Was it, had someone set up a trail camera to catch deer or something like that? But and nobody really knew where that was
and why this guy was, like, being, looked at, because obviously there's a big difference between it coming off of Libby's phone that she's recorded him on to, the fact that it's come off of just a trail camera, some random person walking
along the bridge.
So anyway, this grainy image is released to the public of this man on the Moon High Bridge, walking along with his hand in his pocket, and it's sort of just can't really see facial features.
No, he's kind of looking down in the photo.
Yeah, and he seems to maybe even have a hat on. Maybe
you can't really tell; it's so grainy.
Yeah, so this image, when it was released out, sparked, because it was so little information. It meant that there's the armchair detectives out there did go a little bit nuts on this, and they did, like, pull this apart and try and, like, enhance it and get more information because the police weren't giving it. There was some talk of, like, that in his pocket potentially there was a gun. You can see
the outline
of a gun.
I can sort of
see where they're coming at.
But it could be anything. It could have been like the corner of a mobile phone sticking out.
Yeah.
Or, like, we just don't know.
No.
And there's no way to definitively know.
No.
He's wearing blue jeans, a blue or black sort of like jacket, zip-up jacket. There's not a lot of other identifying information there.
Sort of get, hit the bulk of his build, like, kind of thing. And but even as they said at the press conference, remember that he's, that's maybe later when they do the image of the video. But, the way he's standing, he's walking on a bridge where there's missing planks.
Yeah.
So you can't even get an idea of his gait,
body
of his
language
walk, or anything like that. But, but the press conferences in all of this are all very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly, just trying to get who it was, the main guy that spoke at them, the name of him. It will come to me.
Which guy?
The police officer. He's the head of the state, the superintendent for the state. I know, same. So do I. Somewhere he's written down in my notes here.
Same.
So he speaks at most of them, and he's very interesting the way he speaks.
Superintendent Doug
Carter. I've literally seen it as soon as you said it. Yeah, Superintendent Doug Carter. Yeah, the way he speaks is very dramatic, very poignant.
It's also very, like, gaudy.
Yes, and this is the thing. People have pulled apart his speech as to whether or not there's purpose behind how he talks.
Well, I think this is a very interesting tact that people have taken.
Yeah.
Like, they're trying to read in between the lines, and they think he's got these, like, messages that he's trying to get through by
because they
not
weren't giving us anything.
and I think that's something that law enforcement can learn from this case, is that if you don't give the public enough,
they'll find it. Yeah.
Or they'll either find it and it'll be maybe down the right path, but it may not be as well, because there is a whole host of different theories that have come from this.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are just whack.
Because one of these press conferences, and again, I think it might have been the next one where they released the video.
Yeah.
He spoke in that press conference about, you may even be in this room who we're looking for, and looked at it, and everyone's like kind of going, where is he looking?
But all of the police officers in that room, have you seen that press conference?
They all look at
the same spot.
They all move and look.
And then everyone's like, was that coordinated? Are they actually looking at a person? Do they know who they're looking for? What's going on? Is it someone in this room? And then everyone's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, how freaky.
It's so dramatic.
Yes.
Like, what was the point to that? Was there a point to it, or was it just coincidence that they all did that? I don't know.
I feel like they wanted people to think they knew more than they knew.
Yeah.
And I just, and maybe to scare people out, maybe. Because they also said in that press conference, we've either interviewed you or someone very close to you.
Yeah. Which they hadn't.
They hadn't. But, well, yes. And so it's, yeah, I think they were trying to shake the tree. You know, trying to see what came loose out of that.
And it didn't work.
No,
not
at all.
Yeah, interesting. But so that grainy image was released on February 15th. It was a little while later. They did then release a sketch.
That was not very long after they released the first sketch.
So the sketch that they released of this person was supposedly they said at the press conference that this is the man that was on the bridge. This is the man we're looking for. They don't even like say we just want to speak to them.
No.
He's now the suspect. This is the like. So everyone's a bit like
man,
the bridge. They called him Bridge Guy pretty quickly
Guy,
after the first image being released. So like Bridge Guy is the man we're wanting for this. It was really definitive that we've decided that that's him.
Yeah.
Now we've just got to find him.
Yeah.
And here's the image of his face.
Yeah.
Now, sketch imaging is so interesting because the image came from a person who had seen him come on or off the bridge. I think he actually saw him go in and out.
In and out.
Yeah. So he had seen him twice, but at the time you don't know that this is a person you need to be looking at. This is a perfect stranger who then you go, oh yeah, I remember seeing a guy wearing that sort of gear at that place. To then go and sit down with a cop and describe someone you've never met before in your life and glanced at in a moment.
Yeah.
I mean, how accurate could you be?
Yeah.
But and then describing it well enough to get someone to draw it, I don't know. I mean, I get the idea of like sketch images are meant to be like, hey, my friend looks somewhat like that and he acted weird that day and he's been talking about Libby and Abby or nonstop since it happened. And like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, okay, put the pieces of puzzle together, with multiple other pieces of evidence. It's not to kind of go, oh yeah, I walked down the street the day and I saw a guy who looked just like him. That's him. That's him.
Yeah.
You've never seen him before in your life, don't know anything about him.
Exactly.
So sketch imaging, like putting it out to the public like that, I think gives a really false impression of how much we know about this person.
Well, I think you're 100% right. It's a very interesting choice, but I think at the time as well, the police had nothing else.
No, this is it.
So, well, they did, but they didn't want to release the other stuff at this point.
Which I still don't know why, but anyway.
Same.
Yeah.
Obviously, their first line of questioning is family. They eliminated all of the family. Then, given the nature of what we now know as the public, but at the time no one knew, that there was possibility that there was a sexual element to this crime because the girls' bodies were found naked. Their underwear one pair of their underwear was found, the other person's underwear wasn't.
They were wearing each other's clothes of what they were wearing.
Yeah, their clothes had been swapped. So and they were partially undressed. They hadn't been fully redressed. So
we should mention too, in all of that, so what we're talking about here is, where they've exited the bridge and gone, a kilometre down the path still, right, from where they were, so we're talking there was a video, the photos that she posted even were 2:07. Derek arrived at the Moon High Bridge Trail at 3:15-ish.
3:03, I think it was.
3:13.
3:13.
Yeah, so 3:15-ish, let's call it. So you're talking an hour between posting that photo where everything's fun and great because it's a beautiful photo to Derek arriving and no answer of a mobile phone, talking maybe an hour, right? So, but also then bringing into the mix of that this guy who has seen Bridge Guy exiting the trail, which I believe was around it was before 3 o'clock, I want to say. So it was like closer to 5 to 3 sort of stuff.
Okay.
So we're talking less than an hour where we're talking clothes have been swapped. People have been murdered. They've walked a kilometre down further again from that bridge, a 15-minute walk from the bridge trail back to that car park.
Because it's not along a path. It is like literally in bush.
No, we don't know which car park he came from.
No, I mean the girls like walking from the Monon High Bridge. There's no track to where they were then found. It's like literally in bushland.
Yes.
So even walking that is not the same as walking along a path for 1.5 kilometres.
No.
So that's more time.
The timeline is tight.
Very
tight. There's a lot that's gone on in a short space of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The police then were investigating the 12 known sex offenders who were living in Delphi at the time.
Yeah.
Then there were hundreds more in the surrounding cities. So I'm talking Lafayette and then like in the greater Peru area.
When these sort of things get looked at like that, I mean, we've said it at previous cases, it always blows my mind just how many are in a small space within these things, but also then broader. Yep. It's insane.
They then looked into the girls' online activities and they found that Libby had a presence and Abby's mum, Anna, didn't think she had a Facebook profile or anything like that, but found that she did.
Yeah.
And that she had been talking to people that Anna certainly didn't know on Facebook. Apparently there were over 1,000 people who were interviewed who they'd had contact with at some point or another online.
Yeah.
1,000 different people.
That's it. I guess probably, I mean, our era, not as savvy on it as they are, like kind of thing that I guess I can actually get my head around it.
Yeah, and their friends are friends and everyone's chatting with everyone and Snapchats are going here, there and everywhere. There's like a big web that
even though they're a small town of people, I think they would get there pretty quickly.
For sure.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
So most of the people who were interviewed gave voluntary DNA samples and were happy and were able to be eliminated fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
The investigation went silent until the 17th of July, which is when that composite. So between Feb and July, not much came out.
No.
Then in July of 2017, that's when they released that first composite sketch. And they described the person as being heavy-set, an older man with a bulbous nose and thin downturned lips. He was between 5'6" and 5'10", weighing between 180 and 220 pounds, which is about 100 kilos.
Yeah.
It's interesting then, you know, nothing else was released to the public and they were hoping that by releasing these tiny little bits that it would be enough that
they'd get enough.
I don't know, they'd get enough information to be able to find
They were getting a lot of
tips,
but it wasn't, none of them were going places, I guess.
Yeah.
Like it's, yeah, I just don't understand yeah. When was it they released then the audio?
2019.
Oh, it wasn't until 2019.
2 years later.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was 2 years later.
Yeah, right.
So what they released, where have I got that in my notes? What they released was the video, the full video of so Libby, to her absolute credit, what a hero of a child.
Yes.
She obviously had her mobile phone. Now, I feel like she and Abby must have felt very uncomfortable for her to actually, you know, because you can tell she's secretly making this recording. It's not, she hasn't got her phone up.
Yeah.
It's like down by her side.
Because it's actually upside down. The original footage is upside down.
Yeah.
Because she's holding onto it beside her near her leg as she's walking, as if she's just holding it, as if she's not recording. Like it's just holding it.
Holding her phone.
Yeah.
And you can see Bridge Guy walking behind them. And now in the video, I think in the video he takes maybe 2.5 steps or something in what was released eventually.
What was released, yeah.
And because it turned out the video was like 40-odd seconds long. And
it's longer than that.
Oh, it's longer than 40 seconds.
Actually a lot more that's never been released.
Wow, so we don't even know it now.
Police officers have spoken about it, the ones that have seen the full video. And the way it's been spoken about is that these girls were terrified.
Oh, yeah.
And they, like, as in building up to what you see, that before you see that, what we have been released to, police officers say it was the most terrifying footage they've ever seen. Like,
wow.
the girls
actually
were
have heard that.
terrified.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting why they wouldn't just release all of that so we can get the full grasp of who this was.
Yeah.
Because I think if you got the lot, we'd maybe be able to make more of a definitive just like picture of who this is, if you've met him in your life, like kind of thing, because there's potentially more that was spoken.
Yep. So when they first released the video,
Yeah.
they released the perpetrator saying, or the alleged perpetrator,
only released
saying 3 words.
The audio. They never released the video of it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it was just the audio of it.
And it's very hard to hear because obviously Abby's holding it either down by her side or at one point, at the start they thought it was in her pocket because there was no video, it was only audio. Even though now we know there was video associated with it. And it basically is this man saying down the hill. And they play that and they play it. And then they've sent the video/audio off to the FBI and even Disney.
Disney and NASA.
And NASA to try and clean it up a bit. And they were able to, because when they re-released those 3 words, it is slightly clearer and you can hear like very distinctly a male voice saying down the hill.
I'll add it in here.
I think it wasn't actually that much later, but the police then released the video that's associated with that audio, and that gives a whole nother context.
Yep.
At that time, they also release a little bit before the original audio where you can actually hear the perpetrator say, or the alleged perpetrator say, guys, down the hill. Now, this chills me.
Well, the thing with this bit is that really gets me. Because there's guys, and it's kind of friendly.
Well, it's very laid back.
Yeah.
It's not like guys.
But there's a ripple in the audio that I'm fairly certain there's more that's in there that we don't hear, we don't know.
You can tell there's a cut.
Because there's a real change in tone to then when you get the down the hill.
Yep.
It's a real gruff.
It's dictating the down the hill. It's like down the hill.
Yeah.
Whereas the guys is like, guys.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like I would be saying to...
Just getting their attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. I reckon between that, guys, that's where this stuff happens.
Yeah.
That
is terrifying.
The police have said is awful. The girls were terrified, and they watching it, they feel awful for them and can't help them. Because then between that and then when he says down the hill, it's just sickening. Like
we can't
awful.
even. Can't
so
even
and when you realise then of where they are, they're on the end of the bridge there, where
dead end. But
he tells them to go down the hill, and that's exactly where they get found. Is that they're down the hill, over the river, and down further from there.
Yep.
That this is the guy they're looking for because he's dictating where to go where they would not have otherwise gone. Mm-hmm. It's off the trail.
Yep.
Oh. And you can hear Libby in the 43-second video that's released. You can hear the girls kind of going, but there's no trail down there. Like, where do we go now? You sort of hear them talking.
Yes.
But, yeah, so it's – and then he comes in with the down the hill.
Yeah.
So there's something that's gone on between.
Oh, it
just
makes
awful.
me want to – I don't know. It actually makes me feel sick because you think how those girls must have been feeling in that moment.
They knew that this was not good.
Well, obviously, the fact that Libby had the wherewithal to pull out her phone and record it, like she knew something bad was going to happen.
That's it.
What an incredible young woman.
The other thing is with that footage then of getting that footage of him moving, right? You watch him go across that bridge. You can see in the footage Abby behind Libby. You see her and you watch her and she's tentatively finding the next step. Mm-hmm. She looks terrified in her face, and I do believe that probably a good percentage of that is just literally, where am I putting my feet?
Yeah.
Because as we know, she hated being on that bridge. Libby was more confident.
Yep.
But you then see bridge guy behind her who's walking with a hand in his pocket across there. He's done it before. Mm-hmm. He feels comfortable on that bridge. Definitely. And as we said, only locals go on that bridge. He was a local. He knew the area. He knew that bridge.
Yep.
And so I think that's what gets even more chilling for the people of the town of Delphi.
Yeah.
That this is someone that lives amongst them.
Yep.
Oh,
it's terrifying. And then for the police to then say that in one of their press releases as well, like it really did shake the community.
Well, what was awful was with one of the press conferences, they were specifically asked by the journalists, should we be worried in the town of Delphi that there is someone out there who's murdered 2 children? And they were like, no one's got anything to worry about. What?
Wait, what?
So what? This was a one-off?
How do you know that?
How do you know that? Like I don't think it did what they thought they were trying to do.
That's
by
right.
it. Like, don't panic the town.
Yeah.
It made people panic even more, I think, because you're like, what?
And now are they not taking this seriously?
Yeah.
Like, this could be a serial killer. We don't even know.
That's it. And why are the FBI involved if it's not a serial killer? Like,
and that's what they were saying, because it was like the FBI normally only get involved if things have happened across state lines. So they're like,
it's all serial killer situation.
Serial killers. And so why are they there? Why are they there?
We still actually don't know that.
No, we don't.
I don't know why they were brought in so early, or what was the go with that.
No. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Where are we at? Do we want to talk about what we now know about what happened?
Just touch on a couple of people who were looked at.
Suspects. Okay, let's do that.
Because one that we should probably talk about first was the person they looked at first, which made sense entirely.
Yeah, definitely.
Because as we said, the girls' bodies were found on private property.
Yeah.
So whose property were they found on? Okay, well, they were found on this guy, Ron Logan's property. Now, his property is very, very large. He is well known in the town. Everyone knows who Ron Logan is. The bodies were found approximately about, I think it was like, I want to say like, was it 1,400 feet? So how many, I don't know how, work that at meters.
I'll Google it.
Wasn't that far from the home though, basically. It was a very walkable distance from his house, even though his property is very, very large.
It's less than 500 meters.
Yeah, there we go. 500 meters from the house is where these bodies were found. Mm-hmm. So they obviously pull him in and have a talk to him. Now, unfortunately, Ron, stupidly, I guess, he immediately lied. And well, he got his cousin to lie for him about where he was that day. And what he got his cousin and him to say was that his cousin had driven him out for the day. So he was with his cousin, him being driven, because Ron doesn't have a license.
Nope.
He's lost his license.
He was a naughty person.
So his cousin needed to drive him around. He was running around doing errands with his cousin. That was a lie. He was not doing that. So the immediately thought is, okay, well, if you're lying about where you were, there's something here. We'll look into it. Turns out the real reason he was lying, though, was not because he did something to Libby and Abby. He was actually, it's video footage of him at the local tip, getting rid of stuff at the tip, driven himself to the tip.
And he didn't have a license.
He didn't have a
knew
license.
he was going to get caught for that.
Yeah. So, yeah, dickhead.
And I think the time that he was at the tip kind of excluded him from being able to then get back, get into the woods, do something to Abby and Libby and kind of be done by then.
And the other thing was that people have said too is like, okay, if it was him, why would he leave them on 500 metres from his house and then like come home and go, about my day.
Yeah.
You wouldn't do that on your own property then. You would have dumped them somewhere else.
Because he would have known those woods so well.
Yeah. On the other side of the river. So they're not on your property and nothing to do with you.
That's it.
Of course you're going to get looked at if you put it on your property.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So he was ruled out. People like to go back to look at him constantly, but he's been ruled out.
He passed away in 2022.
He did too.
So he's no longer alive.
Yeah.
The police did go pretty hard in looking at him. They got a search warrant for his house.
Yeah.
They filled an entire police van with knives and other weapons from his home. So that's just an interesting thing. But he lived in the
farmer.
woods. And he hunted.
Yeah.
Like, it was, I mean, you know.
You're going to have far more of that stuff living out that way. I kind of can come at that.
Same.
Yeah, I'm not shocked. Like in the lifestyle. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. All right. Is our next person Anthony Shocks?
Well, or shall we say Keegan Klein?
Keegan.
Keegan?
Keegan.
Keegan Klein.
It's actually Keegan.
Is that how you pronounce it, Keegan? Okay.
This guy. Wow. Okay. So what we know is that this Keegan Klein had an online profile under the name of Anthony Shocks, who proclaimed to be, so Anthony Shocks was a very handsome, well-known model. And he would befriend young girls and basically coerce them into sending him nude pictures of themselves.
Yeah.
So we're talking child exploitation material. And it was later found out by the FBI that Keegan wasn't the only person who had access to this Anthony Shocks profile. There was actually a fucking ring of these absolute fucking pieces of shit.
Access to all sorts of other people, including his own dad, Tony.
Yep, his dad, Tony. Oh, my God. Oh, did you know they went to like some sex ring together?
Yeah, together.
Oh, my God.
Father-son in Vegas.
Yuck.
Oh, gross.
Where they went and got blowjobs together?
Yeah.
Oh, yuck. Fucking disgusting.
Gross.
So the way that this Anthony Shocks profile had interacted with Libby was that Libby and Abby were having a sleepover at a girlfriend's house. This girlfriend had an older sister who had a friend who was supposedly friends with Anthony Shocks. I know this is like really convoluted, but this is how he
Well, actually, I think
people.
it was actually it was a different profile to Anthony Shocks that she was communicating with again. So
right.
I actually think it might have even been a Keegan Klein profile originally that she was talking with.
Oh, right.
And then this Keegan said, "Oh, you should really talk with my other friend Anthony." So he was working it from all different angles.
Wowzers, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there was
That's
all sorts of angles.
That is even worse.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad no matter what. But
Yeah. So then Anthony Shocks started communicating with Libby.
And what the friends say after that sleepover is they assume that she just never contacted him again.
They had a couple of back and forths on the night and they would just assume that was done and dusted with it because we don't know him.
But
he's hot. But
what we do know now is that Libby was actually communicating with him quite frequently after that sleepover.
Including the day of them going missing.
Exactly. The morning of. Like, oh my God. Which means Abby was in the room too when that was happening. They were together.
Yeah.
Well, they were together that whole time.
Yeah.
So what
don't know whether Abby knew or not. We don't know that, but possibly. I mean, they told each other everything. I wouldn't be shocked if she did.
Yeah. So the fact that there was all these interactions and obviously an interaction that happened on the morning that the girls went missing, this guy becomes a pretty
suspect
serious,
number one at the time.
Yeah, a pretty serious suspect. The police go and have a look into what's going on with him and they find an untold amount of child exploitation material. We're not only talking like nudes of girls, and he says he prefers girls aged between 12 and 14. It actually literally makes me feel sick.
Yeah.
He also had videos. He had just the thought of that. I can't actually come at it.
It's so gross.
It's so disgusting. It's known that he has shared some of this material and shared the Anthony Shock's profile so that other people can access the same material. I just can't.
But in this whole thing, the weirdest thing I find about this though is they find out about this Keegan Klein and the Anthony shots and all this, but nothing happens to him.
Nope. So they found that in 2017.
Yeah, 2017 they find this information out, and they do. Now we don't know everything because again they have not released a hell of a lot to us. But for whatever reason, and I believe it's to do with the fact that they can't place him in Delphi. His phone pings off of where he lives, which is not in Delphi. It's a couple of towns over, sort of stuff.
Yes,
it is within a distance to get to Delphi, but on that day he is placed in where he lives, not Delphi. So from what we've been told enough of is that the cops have cleared him.
Yep.
But he's not arrested for the untold amounts of child pornography at that point.
Nope.
He has now been, and he is now in jail.
3 years later.
3 years later, he was arrested, and his father, and he is in jail for.
He was charged. He was convicted of 30 felonies, and he's in jail for 40 years. Thank God.
Thank God, where he belongs. Gross human.
And his father, he can rot.
Yeah, and so just another, I think, an example of with him is when you see him and what he physically looks like. I don't believe he looks like Bridge Guy.
No, agreed.
Like there's elements, but not. No,
nah,
I don't.
I think the upper body of him looks really different to Bridge Guy.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So I don't believe I rule him out personally. Yeah. I do.
I think he's a really bad dude. Yeah. Yeah, but I don't think he was involved.
I think there's lots of parts of his life that are completely gross, and I get people looking at him closer, but I think that the cops have done their due diligence here. Yep. And they have ruled him out from this case.
Yes. What else he's been involved with? I mean, the fact that he was convicted of 30 felonies says a lot.
Yeah. Yep. And so he should be.
So should be. In hell. Absolutely, he can rot in hell.
Yeah.
Then we get to the person. Should we get to?
Yeah. Well, yeah. We can have a chat about Richard Allen. So Richard Allen, he wasn't on the cops' radar. Well, should have been, but wasn't until 2022. Yep. So now supposedly, well, not supposedly, what happened was back in 2017.
Yep.
When all this went down, apparently Richard Allen said to his wife, I was out at the bridge today.
He had a day off work.
His wife said, well, you should go and let the cops know you were out there. You know, he goes, I didn't see anything. I didn't see the girls or anything. But she's like, but you should let them know that you were out that way. So weirdly enough, instead of going down to the police station, he just goes and out. So he worked at CVS, which is like a really big pharmacy kind of store. Chain store, in America, they're everywhere. So out the front of the CVS, he sees like a ranger.
Yeah.
Not a police officer.
Well, I think he was a sheriff or something.
No, I don't know if it was a sheriff as such. Conservation officer, I want to say.
Jesus, okay.
Yeah, part of that kind of crew, but not exactly what you're looking for in terms of police officer.
Especially if you're reporting something like that.
So someone who would definitely report it, right? But so he went to this person and said, just so you know, I just want to let you know I was out there that day. Right. So this guy's, taken his name and done the right things and written it down and filed it away with that stuff. But it got filed incorrectly, because it wasn't actually a police officer. You know what I mean? I guess, it was taken and put in the wrong pile coming from a very odd situation.
Odd source, yeah.
So in all of this, so years later, 2022, a volunteer, she was an ex-secretary or assistant in the police force. She had volunteered a day of going through files for cold case kind of stuff, particularly this case. She was going through the files, picking out things to kind of go, is there anything we've missed? And she finds Richard Allen hasn't been looked at. This is something that's been buried in here and not looked at. So
she was going through all of the leads that had come in by phone, by whatever, and cross-checking them against police interviews.
Yeah.
And she would write on the ones that had been cleared on their files. Yeah. She came across this one and nobody had ever cross-checked
touched it. Yeah.
And she was like, so immediately she was like, this is odd. I need to escalate this.
Yeah. So the cops go out and bring him in for a chat in 2022. Now, the interview is, you can see the video there's of the interview.
Just before you get to that, as he was leaving, so as the police come to his house to essentially arrest him, no, they didn't arrest him. They just asked him to come in for an interview.
Yeah.
There is, I think one of the police officers says that he said, oh, well, it was probably time that they were going to get me.
Which he now says, oh, because it was about time they interviewed me, they never spoke, but bit odd.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
No, it's relevant. But yeah, so they bring him in for this chat. Now, in this chat in the interview, he openly says on that day he wore blue jeans, dark navy or black jacket, literally wore what Bridge Guy was wearing, and then gets uppity about it that they're accusing him of looking like Bridge Guy. Like, I don't know where he's coming from.
Everyone in Delphi wears that. Okay. But you were wearing that on the day that these girls went missing and were murdered.
And you're saying you were in
that area wearing that exact thing?
Yeah. Yeah, so from that interview, they get to a point where they do arrest him. They do get a warrant to search his house. At his house, they find a spent bullet and a gun, which is then used as well, where they look at so basically at the crime scene between the two girls, they did find a spent bullet. Now, it wasn't one that had been fired out of the gun. It was as if someone had cocked it and the bullet had come out of the gun. And when that happens, certain markings occur. So they were able to line them up and they can do all their ballistic stuff. And look, it's not junk science, but it's questionable science. Yeah. There's lots of varying opinions on whether or not
that's right. It's not really based in hard evidence, but there's a likelihood that this came from this gun. It's not. I don't think they can say it with any certainty, whereas you can with a fired gun, a fired bullet. It's a lot more definitive. But the fact that it hadn't been fired out of the barrel, and just had gone into the barrel and not actually being fired out meant that the markings aren't as unique.
Yeah. But a number of experts have looked at it and do agree that likelihood is that it came from that gun that he owns.
Yes.
So, so we've got some evidence being found in terms of physical evidence. The fact of what he wore that day, that he puts himself there, they arrest him and he is on trial.
Yep.
He, at the time, absolutely denies any of it, that it's not part of it. His wife being interviewed in that documentary, I find weird.
So weird.
I can't get my head around her. I don't know what to think of her at all.
I just think she wants to believe that her husband didn't do it. And
I get that.
I think mentally she can't get her head around the fact that maybe he's in prison. So he perpetrated these crimes we've talked about this in other serial killer cases as well, where they're normal people out in society and they're going out and doing these horrific things, then they're coming home to their families at the end of the day, and their families might not necessarily know anything different.
No, that's the one thing that gets me with him, is that there's one part of this is that we don't have anything on record of him ever doing anything else like this before or after this incident.
No.
Doesn't mean he hasn't.
Correct.
But nothing has been found, and no one, there's only his wife that's speaking out. Other people really haven't spoken about him. The only bit of stuff you get from outsiders is that, really only spoke to his wife. He was always very quiet. His wife was the chatty one, which happens in relationships. Totally. Very normal.
Hello, look at my relationship.
Oh, God. So that can definitely be a thing. It's not out of the ordinary at all. So you're not kind of getting from the outside kind of going, oh, yeah, I've always thought he was weird, or he touched my daughter inappropriately, or,
No.
You don't see a pattern of behaviour in any way. So until that does get me with this, that someone like this does not go. I mean, we're talking, he would have been about 45 when this incident occurred. You don't get to 45 and murder two girls out of nowhere and then don't do anything again for the next 5 years until you're arrested. I don't know. That's the only part of this that I struggle with, to kind of go, it was
I agree, but also what don't we know?
Oh, totally.
Because
this is the thing.
So
it's only
much we don't know in this case. And I'm like, maybe that has just never been released.
But this is where I feel like the judge has done the wrong thing.
I agree.
In that, all right, so this goes to trial. Prior to even trial, the defense attorneys put in a submission. He's a bit weird, the defence attorney.
Yeah.
They put in a submission, like a 1,200-page document of like other theories as to why it's not him, right? It's anyone else but him sort of situation.
These are court-appointed attorneys because he couldn't afford an attorney, and the court appointed 3 independent defence attorneys to him.
Yeah.
And the main guy, yes.
Strange.
Very odd. Very odd.
Very odd.
Lived in his basement to work on this case. Like, very, very strange.
Recorded a lot of stuff, like video recorded as if he was going to make his own doco about this.
Yeah.
I just question a bit of him.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So he submitted this huge memo he calls it, but it's a manifesto to the courts around other alternatives to it being someone else other than Richard Allen. Now, what the judge had turned around then and said was that he was not going to allow into the trial them to claim third-party suspects, which I find that challenging in that for appeals and things. If you don't allow information like that to be used.
I get why the judge did that though, because there was no evidence. Like there was no hard evidence. So I understand that they wanted to create a reasonable doubt.
Which I think then it narrows how they can do that.
That's right.
Is then not lawful.
Yeah, I get that too. But you can't also just go out and be like, oh, Meg did it. You know,
you've got to have evidence to build to that.
And they didn't have enough evidence. So I also agree with why the judge said, well, no, you can't just point to all these random people because there's no evidence to back up what you're saying.
No. And I feel like then they know more than we know, and entirely in terms of like the police.
It's so hard to form an opinion in this case.
I know, because I reckon the police obviously have very valid reasons that they've sealed up and gone, it's not X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
And one in particular being this Odinism theory.
Yeah.
That there's reasons why it's not that, which hasn't been made public for whatever reason.
Yeah.
That the judge is aware of in closed, in the court situation. Yeah. That I can get why the decision was made without us having the knowledge of things. But unfortunately that creates, and it has created this massive storm of like podcasters and stuff going off. And I've listened to some job podcasts of like adamant theories on this Odinism or on Keegan Klein when there is enough to say that it didn't happen.
Yes.
That way.
For sure. For sure. It's bizarre to me. So what the Odin, I'm just going to really quickly summarize what that theory was. But this Odin report that they called it was basically, they are saying that there was ritualistic activity detected in the way the girls were placed, and there were sticks on top of their bodies, and they're saying that those sticks were like
laid in a way that were symbols.
Like runes, they're called.
Yeah.
So they're like ancient symbols that mean different things.
Yeah.
So it's a Norse pagan religion, this Odinism.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying that like intentional marks were left in blood on trees that were also rune symbols. And apparently the FBI did look down this path and completely eliminated it. Like, no, this is not a thing.
Because they named 2 people in that report being Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall. Mm-hmm. Now, Patrick Westfall is interviewed, and he's quite a normal-ish kind of bloke.
Well,
but
yeah.
But so he talks about the fact that this Norse
religion
pagan is very based in nature.
Yep.
So yes, sticks and things and all that are used, and particularly this Brad Holder, who they sort of highlighting on this. Mm-hmm. He posted online things with these sticks and things placed in symbol format, and and that then they're saying that that's how Libby and Abby were placed, was similar to a post that he made about something on Facebook, but they've obviously done their due diligence because they've done this report and they've looked into it. And
so Brad Holder meets a lot of criteria. I can understand why they looked into him.
Sure.
Abby was friends with Brad's
son. Yep.
He had a post on Facebook that said something along the lines of "friends help friends move bodies."
Yes.
Like one of those,
But I'd post that about you.
Exactly.
I'd totally bury Pete's body if you need me to.
Exactly. Apparently there were Odinist symbols made out of sticks on his social media account.
Yeah.
But he had a good alibi. He was at work and there's like CCTV footage of him at
this
work.
This is the thing. He's been eliminated. It's not him. He wasn't there. He's got like multiple people from his workplace who placed him at work when this occurred.
Yeah, exactly.
So So, yeah, to keep pushing this is just a nightmare.
Yeah.
The judge's wording was that that they could not introduce it as evidence due to there being no nexus to tie all the information to the crime or third-party suspects.
That's it. Exactly.
So they're trying to pull that out and appeal now as well and bring it back again.
We'll see what comes of that.
So December 17th is they're due to submit all their documents. He has already submitted... He's submitting a $24,000 word or page.
It must be word.
Word.
But also, like, in terms of all of the research and stuff that the lawyer did with that manifesto, he said that he reviewed almost 4 million pieces of paper, like pages.
No, he didn't.
That's what he reckons.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Between him and the 3 people.
Oh,
so
he's full of shit.
It's just.
It was a 1,200-page document with the Odinism document.
Yeah, no, but he's saying in order to come up with that, he reviewed 4 million pages of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know. It's an absolute farce.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, okay, where are we at now? We've basically got Richard Allen. He's in prison, awaiting the trial.
He's been sentenced, or now? Oh, we get to there. Are we? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, so I think probably before that.
Yeah.
Awaiting the trial, though, he's still in prison. He didn't make bail, right?
Yes.
So he ended up going into solitary confinement. He was there for 12 or 13 months in the lead up to the trial.
For his own safety.
For his own safety, absolutely. He murdered 2 young girls.
Yeah.
Everyone in Delphi wanted to kill him.
Gen Pop's going to murder him.
Yeah, totally. And so during the time that he was in solitary, he phones his wife and he says to her, I did it. And she's like, you did what? And he goes, I killed them. I killed Abby and Libby.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, you didn't. You didn't. Don't say that.
Yeah.
And
Oh, no,
he's
you
like,
need to stop talking now.
Yeah. And he's like, no, I did it. I'm going to confess. I did it.
And he apologises to his wife.
Exactly.
And
he's like, I am so sorry. And she and then his defence attorneys come out and say, well, no, because he's been in solitary confinement. His mental health has deteriorated to the point where he'd say anything to get out of it. They get a human rights lawyer to come in and weigh in on it. And the human rights lawyer says that people shouldn't be in solitary for more than 14 days.
15 days is apparently
like
the limit.
Max. Well, fucking Aaron Patterson's been anyway, that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
But, you know, I whatever. He then is convicted and sentenced.
They tried to like throw that out, the confessions and things in the trial, but they didn't have it. It was able to be used in the
Absolutely.
in the trial.
He confessed on prison recorded
numerous
phone
times.
line more than once.
Yeah, it's all recorded. Like you can actually listen to them. Like
Yes.
it's actually interesting to hear him confessing.
Agreed.
I believe him.
Same. When he says it, I'm like, well, yeah, of course you did.
Yeah, and I think the cops know more than we know, and I think that they have put this together. There was 12 people in the jury who only what's the word I'm looking for?
Convicted him? No.
Talked, like they only deliberated over the outcome for like less than 20 hours.
Yes.
And then they came back
just over a day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They came back with guilty on 4 counts. Now, I went to look it up. They were guilty on the 2 counts of murder and 2 counts felony murder.
Yes. I didn't understand the difference between that.
No, I didn't mean to look it up.
Yeah,
Sorry, people.
same.
I'll look it. But so there were 4 counts he was done for. So then they came to the sentencing. I'm just blown away by this. So he got 130 years.
It's the only time in that area, I think, that somebody has received a consecutive sentence. So he has to serve the 65 years for one girl and then serve the 65 years of the other murder.
Which he won't make either of those.
But how amazing is that? Because generally, like I know in Australia, if you're convicted of 2 murders, you generally serve those sentences concurrently.
Yeah.
So it would only be 65 years. I mean, not that
Well,
you
we
get
don't
that
get
here,
65
but
years for life.
No.
Like the equivalent for life here is not that far. That long.
Years, exactly.
It's 25.
So it was an extraordinary outcome and one that really sort of, I guess, it made the people of Delphi feel safe and secure in that.
Yeah.
But then you've got all of these other people who think he's in there and been convicted incorrectly.
Yeah.
And so let's see where this appeal takes us.
See where the appeal goes. But, I mean, he's a bit of a nut job, the lawyer. I feel like it might not get up.
I believe he's got new counsel for the appeal. No, he's got the same counsel. Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, yeah. And so they keep asking for extensions, like a week here, a week there.
Yeah.
But it's looking like next week is the deadline that they should have their submissions in. So I dare say we'll hear more in the new year in terms of an outcome of the appeal. So we'll update when we get it. But, I think we've got the guy. I feel
I
gut
agree.
instinct, but
I fully agree.
I mean, it's not my decision to make, but
No,
if it was, so easy.
I think the reason this case resonated with so many people and the reason we're talking about it, I mean, not only the sequence of events, but the fact that Libby was so brave in doing what she did and recording what she did, to have the wherewithal as a 14-year-old girl to do that, and that's led to the outcome that it has. She's incredible. Yeah. The community involvement, the fact that there's so many people in the community who came together, rallied to support this family at that time. Then this social media obsession. If you want to go down a really deep dive, go to Reddit on this case.
Oh, Reddit's mad on this.
Fucking insane.
Yeah.
It's actually insane.
Yeah.
And then the fact that there was such a massive delay between the murders and the arrest and then subsequent trial, and why things weren't released and why we still to this day don't know everything. I think that's really captured people's attention, and there's no letting up of it.
No.
There's no letting up of it.
No. I really hope one day they do fill us in a little bit more as to why that is the case. Yeah. Even if they don't release it, but just tell us why you're not releasing
That's
it.
That's right.
I don't know. One or the other.
Is it? I don't know if it was like inexperience, because the local county police officers, they don't really deal with murder.
No, which I love the fact that they have all come in to work on this case together.
Yeah.
But, did that mean that then things weren't being, I don't know what it is.
the way they should have been? I really don't know.
No.
Just a quick note on the families as well. The dignity that they showed throughout this process cannot be, discounted.
Absolutely.
They are incredible people, and I'm so sorry for their loss.
Absolutely.
It's so profound, and we can't imagine it. But they have really shown amazing character throughout this entire ordeal.
God, yeah. No, they are amazing people and amazing families, and Libby and Abby can incredibly have, credible girls because of who raised them.
That's right.
And my heart goes out to their families. Same. It's just awful. That should never be the outcome for a 13 and 14-year-old.
Never.
That piece of shit can rot in jail, and so can Keegan Klein. Keegan, sorry. I don't give a shit. Keegan. Call him Keegan all day.
Keegan sounds way more bogan. So thank you everybody for joining us for our final episode for 2025. Yes. Stay tuned. We'll announce on social media what our first episode of 2026 will be.
Yes.
I can't believe we're saying 2026. We will be releasing a Patreon episode over this time. So if you can't go for 3 weeks without hearing your besties, pop on over to Patreon, because we will be releasing something over there. Yep. We thought we might do a little Christmas special with some wines.
Yes.
And if there's a particular topic you want us to talk about, please let us know. Send us a DM on the socials. That's probably the easiest way to reach us. On Instagram.
Just not
that would
TikTok.
Be great. Yeah, not TikTok. We still haven't resolved that issue. I don't know that it's ever going to come back, but that's fine.
We'll work it out.
Whatever. It'll be okay. Merry Christmas to everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you for your support during 2025. We hope you all have a really safe and happy festive season, whichever way you choose to celebrate. And we look forward to a bumper 2026.
Bring on 2026 for Two Crime Besties. It's going to be a big one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Merry Christmas and stay curious, Crime Besties.
Bye.